Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode, we watched Stormbreaker, or as it might be called, Alex Rider Operation Stormbreaker. I recognised the name of this, and I don't think I ever saw it. I think I saw Agent Cody Banks, and that's what I was thinking of.
Infinitely better.
I have
film.
never seen this movie. This movie which shocked me with the amount of actors in it.
Yep.
That are fucking wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... So, Stormbreaker, Alex Rider was a very popular series of kids' books.
Yeah, it's by Anthony
Tween
Horowitz,
teens.
isn't it? It's,
Horowitz.
it's basically young adult James Bond.
Yeah, well, he's 14 in this, but I think it follows him as he grows up. Sort of the Harry Potter of spy books.
Yeah. But this is, I think, the first one.
Yeah, and
Of
this
the
is also
series.
the reason that there are no more films.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I was going to read these. I think I read the first one. I was
Yeah.
excited for the film, and then the film...
Stopped everyone
Put-
from reading them?
Yeah, I didn't read the
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
definitely in the category of the books may have been good, but the film completely ruined it, which is why I've still never watched the Darren Shan movie.
I've watched the Darren Shan movie's okay.
Like, I really enjoyed those books when I read them, but to be fair, that was quite a long time
Yeah.
ago.
Don't read them again. They are
We're
actually
not
that good.
doing
We're
Hey,
not
I
doing
love
Hey, I
that
Love
book.
Hey, I love that novel.
Yeah. Hail of that book, which is actually 12 books in a series.
Yeah. I think I read most of the Alex Rider books. I believe I did. I don't know. I used to read so many fucking books, and now I can barely read a sentence.
Oh yeah. Like, I'm.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't really read at all at the moment. It's so
Right.
bad. I've had like the same sort of 3 books that I've half-heartedly been reading over the last year.
right? Like it's.
And then I'll find a book I like and I'll read it in like not much time at all.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like I sometimes try and read before bed, but then it's like I just get tired really quickly.
That's kind of the point of reading
Yeah.
before bed.
Yeah. But then the other time that I have time to read is if I'm on a train, and then I'm like, don't fall asleep on the train.
I can't read on trains.
I used to miss every now and then. I'd miss my stop on the way home from school because I was reading,
Oh no.
Nerds.
and I'd call my mum and be like, "Can you pick me up from Dumpton Park?"
I would. Yeah, I can't read on moving trains.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's awful. Feel
Can you-
sorry for me.
Do like look at screens?
No, not really.
Oh God.
And that's why podcasts are good for trains too.
Yeah, I have a weird ear condition. I feel I get.
I was not
see-
saying like, yeah, I know, but then I realised that was not for my benefit.
I get vertigo sitting down. Like
Yeah.
I can't do fuck all on a train other than sit there and stare at the wall in front of me
Fair.
and just hope.
Just try not to vom.
Listen to other people's conversations in the hope that it distracts me, and sometimes it does, and it's great. But Alex Rider, this film is
Alex Rider, some
I remember
teenager.
everyone had a crush on him when this
Yeah.
came out.
fucking obviously
He's pretty dreamy, beach blonde, whatever.
mouthy. Like, yeah, he's
But oh my God, just first things first, he cannot act.
no, he can't. Well, he was meant to be like, he was being like made out to be the next like teen heartthrob
Mm-hmm.
in the same way that Taylor Lautner was, but
Yeah,
it
but
never
he was,
really
like,
happened.
He was just like 15 in this movie as well, though.
Yeah, but that's what he was
Yeah.
being sort of built up to be. But I think I think this guy's called like Alex
Alex Pettyfer.
Pettyfer.
He's no Robbie from Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging.
But like, he's an actor
Who's
now.
now going to be fucking.
Oh, he's the
Spider-Man
heartthrob. He's the heartthrob in Wild Child as well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which I
He was-
vaguely remember.
Oh, well,
but like
Child
he
was
was
alright.
Alex Pettyfer was built to be like the next heartthrob,
Yeah.
and then he number one, not at this point, not a great actor.
No,
Um,
especially when you compare him to everyone else in this movie.
Yeah,
Um,
even we'll get to the surprise
I've-
cast later.
Yeah.
We'll
I feel
get
like
to-
the other actors were acting badly, I guess, to try and
Yeah.
not show him up.
One of
Can
them
we-
especially.
Can we get to the surprise out
I
of
mean,
nowhere
the
cast?
fact that I hadn't seen this before, and he's like I vaguely knew, oh, his uncle is a spy, but he gets killed or something. That's the vague plot.
Yeah.
And then his uncle's Ewan fucking McGregor,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
he's-
oh,
Yeah.
I am in for a oh, he's dead.
Oh, he said.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor has a fleeting role.
he's
in
in
this.
this.
Yeah, he's in it. He has a
He essentially plays James Bond.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
James Bond. He has a motorbike chase that has more cuts in it than Liam Neeson jumping a fence.
Yeah.
And
Oh, the action in this film is bad.
it's choppy as fuck. Like
Yeah.
it's like genuine nausea inducingly bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just want to mention Alex Pettifer, meant to be the next big thing, turned into an arsehole. Like, he was just a dick, apparently, and no one wanted to
Oh,
work with
right.
him. Because he got really arrogant.
Ah.
Yeah.
And they were like, no one wanted to work with him. Which is why there's like huge gap in his career, because fuck, no one wanted to work with him.
Because it was like, mate, you were in Stormbreaker. You're not that
It
big
really
a deal.
was like that. And then he came back later and did like, he was like a normal guy again.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't an arsehole. And he was like,
Yeah,
even
I
he was
imagine,
like, I fucked up.
being told that you're going to be the one that all of the teenage girls are going
Yeah.
to have a crush on and really fucking
Oh.
inflate your ego.
I don't blame him
No.
for getting like that. Like, he was essentially a child that was told he was going to be a big star.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to believe it, because Hollywood is awful. Which is
I mean,
another thing he said.
In 20, well, yeah, he got Emma Roberts' name. No, her initials tattooed on his finger.
Yeah. He was a
Like,
weird guy for a while.
I think puberty was just a bit rough for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, he was in that I Am Number 4, which I never watched because I'm pretty sure when that came out is when I was like, no, I'm pretty sure that Alex guy is a dickhead.
Because he was. But Stormbreaker, he's not a good actor. Okay, now can we talk about the cast? Because it is batshit.
Yeah, like,
Go on.
yeah, Ewan McGregor,
McGregor
his
is
uncle,
his
I'm
dad.
like, damn,
Yeah.
that's mad.
They clearly
Cool.
pitched this as like, hey guys, this is going to be the young Bond. It's going to take off. You all want to get in on the ground level.
These books are really fucking big. Like,
They
it's going to
sold
be
well,
great.
yeah.
Hey, Jimmy
there's also
Carr, do
shit
you want to
tons
come
of
in this
them.
movie?
Sorry.
Why the fuck
Why?
is Jimmy
Like,
Carr in this
genuinely.
movie?
That was such a
It's
shock.
so jarring.
I was
like,
genuinely
Jimmy Carr?
like, is
I
that
just thought it was
Jimmy
a guy
Carr?
that looked.
Or...
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
why
And
has that
then
guy
it's-
got Jimmy Carr's hair and
I've
his
never-
face?
And then
I've
it just
never had
is Jimmy Carr, and I'm like, why the fuck is he? And then I'm like, oh, and there's Bill Nighy and doing the worst acting of all time.
Bill Nighy makes sense, because Bill Nighy will act in shit. And like all
Yeah.
the other big actors, sure. Jimmy Carr felt like a jump scare of an actor in this film.
He always feels like a ventriloquist doll that's come to life.
But like, it's so strange. He just appears.
It's
in
surreal
something
because
like,
I just
the
don't
fuck
see
is-
him as a because he's a presenter, comedian, like
Yeah, he's like an
chat-
insult
panel
comic
chair.
as well.
Like
he's
yeah.
not kid-friendly comedian.
Not at all, no.
and like in this, he's playing a pretty. Well, he's like,
Serious.
he's a policeman, isn't he?
He's in
Yeah.
like 3 scenes and then he's just gone. Like,
Yeah.
Every time he's in it, it's a jump scare.
Yeah,
Because you're like, the fuck is that Jimmy Carr? Because you forget he's in it for a bit, and then you go, fuck. It's just surprising. And yeah, Bill Nighy, incredible.
like he's doing his best kind of
Playing Mr.
Weird,
Blunt,
yeah.
and really took that to heart.
Yeah.
with his little moustache. And...
But yeah, so the story is Alex Rider, his uncle dies before he gets home from school. It's all sad. He lives with his nanny.
I thought it was his sister, but
It's not.
apparently
She's
No.
hired to be there.
Yeah.
Called Jack, who is just this kind of like a bit ditzy American, like how live-in nanny, I guess.
Yeah.
That he grew up with because his dad was always out working
Yeah.
for a bank. And yeah, then at his uncle's funeral, he's like, he gets approached by the people that his uncle used to work with at the quote-unquote bank, and Jimmy Carr.
Jimmy Carr.
It
Jimmy Carr
is like being slapped in the face of an
It's
actor.
so surprising. I feel like every actor is revealed in this in that way, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you get Jimmy Carr, then you get Bill Nye.
The sudden cut to Ewan McGregor, I was like, oh fuck, he's in this. This might be good.
Yeah, it just cuts to big actor.
Yeah.
Every character in this film is a reveal to the actor. It's so strange. But yeah, Jimmy Carr is a police officer, works for the
They
bank. The
work
bank is
for the
CIA.
bank. Yeah.
The bank is the CIA.
The MI6.
No, it's not. It's MI6.
Yeah.
MI6, sorry.
But yeah, they say he had a car accident, and then Alex sees that like his uncle's stuff is being taken in a van, so he chases it on a bike.
Yeah.
And the nanny, like, I can't tell if it's a recurring joke or just they just kept writing. And then she can't see where Alex has gone, and he's chasing people.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a
So
running.
many
I think it's a
times.
gag that doesn't play off well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not particularly funny, but they do it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something in the book. I can't remember if that's like a specific joke that happens a lot in the
Maybe.
books.
But yeah, he cycles and almost causes a lot of traffic accidents. And
Yep.
then gets to a scrapyard where he sees his uncle's car and it's got bullet holes in it. Oh, because his uncle was killed by a guy hanging upside down out of a helicopter.
Yes,
Sorry.
by
There's that
surprise,
too.
because it's very easy to be snuck up by a helicopter.
Yeah, especially when you got the radio on.
Yeah, he gets in the car because all the people are like, all the workers might catch him,
Yeah.
and then the car's going to be crushed, and he gets ejected out of it to safety. And all the workers try and catch him to
And he beats him up
presumably
with a
kill
rope.
him.
Yeah.
Beats him up with a rope. And you want to talk about cuts in a sequence?
Yeah, there's
Oh
so
my
many
goodness.
cuts to the point where I was losing track, and then it just cuts to him at a train station, and I'm like, hang on,
Yeah.
how did he get out?
This slip. It would be so funny if they slipped that in the middle of the fight scene.
Hmm.
But they picked the worst. So number one, he can't act, so I doubt he knows how to fight, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they have to cut really quickly, and then they picked the worst weapon to like
Yeah,
try and
big rope.
choreograph a fight to.
And it's very, like, any time that it's not him, it's so obvious. Like,
Yeah.
especially in any, like, chase scenes and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, because
Yeah,
he's a child.
He's not got a good stunt double.
Because he's a child. There are very
yeah.
few children stunt doubles.
yeah.
Which, yeah, is... But it's not even done well. Like, there's definitely ways you could have used a stunt double to do things and then not had it be quite as obvious.
Oh yeah, no, it's also done badly.
Also, it's just... There's something really British and cheap about
Yeah.
them basically hiring a scrapyard to film this fight scene on.
See, that I quite like. I like that this film has an essence of cheapness to it.
Yeah, it
For
feels
no
like a bit of
reason.
a... It's sort of like... It's one of those... It's bizarre, isn't it? Because it's like, it's a cash grab, but they've also ploughed loads of money into it.
Yeah,
At
like
the time,
it,
this was the most expensive independent film made in
Yeah.
Britain.
it feels so cheap. I love it. I love that
it must have all
aspect
gone
of
on the
it.
actors.
And I love how, like, because he can't act in it,
Yeah.
which, no fault in him, very few child actors can, and, like, teenage actors can act that well, and it was a bit of a weird film to act in. It becomes campy because every other good, and there are some good actors that we haven't got to yet, even including, like, Bill Nye, they all have to come down to his level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that
And
adds
some of
to,
them
like,
go to his level a little bit too hard.
I think that's like a bit of the campiness to it.
He's at a train station, and then he sees Jimmy Carr, and Jimmy
Again,
Carr goes into
it's another jump
Yeah.
scare.
and then
Yeah.
Jimmy
Like,
Carr
oh,
goes
it's
into a
Jimmy
photo
Carr.
booth, and you never see him again.
Well,
Yeah.
out pops. They were like, "How can we make it really obvious, even to like the thickest kids
Yeah.
watching this film?" That
Jimmy
it's
Carr
different?"
goes in,
and then like this, like
is assumedly
Yeah.
evaporated on the way.
there's a flash, and then a few seconds later, like this, like
A black woman
chubby
steps
black
out.
woman steps out, and it's like, and he's like, "Huh?"
Uh-huh. I think if I was at that train station, I'd definitely see that. Like,
Yeah,
as a
it's very
normal person,
obvious.
I'd definitely be like, the fuck just happened?
Well, yeah, you're busy people watching because you can't read.
That's it. I'm trying to find something to stare at so I don't vomit.
But yeah, it's one of those weird spy things where it's like, that has so much capacity to go wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah,
It's
because
also
all
really...
he does is press the button to take a photo, and then
Yeah.
he ends up in the little secret bit. The amount of people
Well,
that
I
must be like,
assume he gets
It
like
scans his face.
yeah,
Oh, and he pulls the weirdest, like almost
like-
TikTok fuckboy kind of faces.
Well,
in
he
it.
presses the button. He steps into a photo booth, presses the button to take photos, and then looks surprised when a flash goes off.
Well, like nothing happens, so he puts a quid in.
Yeah. And then he presses the button and then is surprised that it took his photo.
Yeah. But I think rather than it being just like an automatic system, there must be some sort of operator that chooses whether or not
I
you have
assume it,
clearance to go in.
Scans their face and then, like, sends them in.
But again, it's very Harry Potter, like, you know, how they get to the Ministry of Magic or whatever, with like the going through a toilet or going through a
you go through this thing and then
booth.
suddenly you're in a giant underground thing with lots of elevators and a small office where Bill Nye is like, come work for us, and he's like,
I was expecting like the door to open and it would be like a big space office, but no, there's like you go on the actual silly little stool.
Yeah,
and there's like a train track.
I think you'll find
minecart-esque thing.
Some of it is green screen, and some of it is physical, and it's really strange. Because when they cut to him sometimes, and like the back, I guess it was pickup shots, but the background is like green screen, and then it cuts to the other side, and no, they actually built that room.
Yeah.
It's really strange. First of all, you see how inefficient that system is, because like they have to leave that secret room one by one.
Yeah.
And I assume not like one after another, because then it becomes really obvious that there are just people. I assume there's a delay. Or do they get sent to all of the other?
Maybe, because there's more tracks,
booths.
so there must be other photo booths as well.
Around.
Yeah, it's not really well explained. It's probably one of those things that in the book might have been explained later on in the series, where it's like that's the exit if you need to get to them, and you're being
it's a bad system.
But there's also like, you know, a door.
Yeah, it's a bad system. But we see Bill Nye. Yeah, we learned that he's
his uncle
was a
Ian
spy.
worked for MI6.
Ian.
Because we have this weird scene at the start. The like expo is that he doesn't see his uncle his parents died. He doesn't see his uncle very much, and he has his uncle, as far as he knows, has like a really boring job and has to go to loads of boring conferences.
Yeah,
and he's really bitter about it.
Yeah, it turns out his uncle is actually an MI6 agent.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, he spent the whole time training you. You know all these different languages, and you went mountain climbing, and you can fight with ropes and do all this shit. And it's like, we've never
it was like
seen
you went
that.
on holiday. You went on holiday to like holidays to Japan, like mountain climbing, ice skating, and it's like just listening. But they were like the most raw kind of activity, like holiday activities.
Oh, everyone in this film is so posh. Even we'll get to the villain, but even the villain is like posh.
Yeah.
I like that idea as like a base idea of he learnt his skills. His dad like secretly taught him skills by taking him on holiday.
Yeah,
I
like training him different things. Like it makes sense in a good movie.
I think in a good movie it could be really good. I really like that though, and I swear that happened in Spy Kids.
Yeah,
that's what they do. Like, remember they have the like playground outside, like the play area outside, that's essentially like teaching them how to Tarzan about the place.
It works better in a good film. The good film is Spy Kids.
Exactly. Instead, in this, he goes to a special forces training camp in Wales, and the soldiers are like, "You're going to do shit," and then he has a training montage to the band Gorillas, which we just talked about in Tarzan.
Yeah.
Which was
the
not
music
a fitting
choice.
song at all.
The music choice in this film is so strange.
It's cringy.
It's so strange.
So then they have to do an exercise, and then I got a bit confused because suddenly they're like, "We failed the exercise," and they're locked in a like old house,
building.
like farm building.
Yeah,
and I don't remember. I don't remember how they got to the point that they were.
No, because it's just doing a montage before that. Because they're like, "Oh, you're not going to last 2 days," and then it's going through his 2 weeks there.
Well, they're doing like training, like an invasion train. Like they have to sneak into a building training, and they get caught. So they get put in punishment house. Yeah. And Alex is like, there's a chimney.
He like smashes the like it's boarded up.
Yeah. He like kicks it out and he's like, there's a thing.
And he's like, I saw it on the way in, and it's like, oh, he's observant. So he can see.
So now with that great knowledge, he climbs up and then almost kills a bunch of people.
Yes.
He climbs up onto the roof, which is like, okay, fair enough. Climbing up a chimney is a pretty cool skill. Nearly gives himself away by rolling a rock into the guard's tea.
And then locks people in.
And then suddenly, and he like sees the like the control room, which is just a little porter cabin on wheels.
Locks them in and pushes them down.
But it's like the scene from like him getting from the house to the porter cabin. It's just a stretch of open field. Bearing in mind, there's like guards everywhere, like army everywhere. it doesn't show him sneaking there at all. He's just there.
He just gets there. Yeah.
It's so like, for God's sake, why do that?
Yeah, I think.
And then throws an entire break room into a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like properly into it, like off a cliff into a lake, and we were like, "Oh shit, has he killed them?"
I think that was part.
I watched about half of this with my husband because he gave up halfway through because he doesn't do this podcast. He was like, "Fuck this, I'm gonna go and play COD."
I think that was part of his test, though. I think it was like a lateral thinking test for him.
Well, you say that, but then it sounds like they sent him there for training, but he was under the military was supposed to be training him.
Yeah.
And then they were furious with the outcome. It doesn't sound like it was actually something prepared by Blunt.
No, I don't think it was prepared by the army.
But he's thrilled. They're like, he's irresponsible, he's dangerous, and Blunt goes, in the best acting ever. He's ready.
He's the person that we need. Your uncle discovered a virus in a computer.
Yeah.
A
the computer is called Stormbreaker by Darius Sale. And we've managed to infiltrate...
Mickey Rourke.
Played by Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Because why the fuck not?
Being a bad guy who's invented the Stormbreaker computer, and we need a way to get in, so we've got a computer nerd that tries out the PC.
Yeah, he's won a competition. You're a computer nerd that's won a competition to go and try it out for the first time before its launch.
Now
learn to be a computer nerd.
To be a computer nerd and then go and see Stephen Fry at his workshop.
Can we, as another reveal right there, is we got slapped in the face with Stephen Fry.
But not in a good way, like in Thunderpants.
No, he's this film's Q, and he works in like a kid's toy store.
Yeah.
Or Hamleys, which is like the big British toy store.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got like a yo-yo grappling hook parachute with some thermite, a mind control pen, and then a Nintendo DS that does some other shit too.
Can we just talk about the Hamleys scene though? Because the lines in that.
Mario Kart is a game. I thought you might like it for the flight.
I love
So he goes there and he's like, he goes up to Stephen Fry and he's like, "I'm here for something for Cornwall," and he looks at you and he's like, "Oh, I see." And I was like, it would be so funny if he like took him over to like the bucket and spade section.
Yeah.
But no, he's like, he takes him into like the back, and then he's like, "I keep my special toys down here where children aren't allowed."
That's a bit creepy.
Words coming out of your mouth, mate. Did no one reviewing the footage go, "That sounds messed up"?
I think
sounds like he's going to give him a butt plug.
I think Stephen Fry is the best part of this film. Like that whole scene is he actually delivers his line with comedy.
Yeah.
Which is lacking everywhere else. Because he's Q. He gives him like a scanner. He gives him the tensile.
It's a yo-yo.
Yo-yo.
Yo-yo that it can also be like
hook.
a grappling hook / like abseiling.
Yeah, he's got zit cream that burns through metal.
Yeah.
Which he then uses to burn through glass later, but we won't talk about that.
That's what.
Yeah.
Bernie.
A DS that if you put different cartridges in,
yeah.
it's like you can listen
just
to
the
things.
best, most subtle product placement ever.
Yeah. But
and then he's like,
joke.
"What about Mario Kart?"
He's like, Mario Kart is a
so
game.
There's 3 incredibly brilliant fake games.
Yeah.
And like the art for the because for some reason they've all, instead of them all being games that you can
actual
access,
games.
They're fake games. One is Bomb Blast, which makes it explode.
Yep.
One
I guess
was like,
or
like it was a gas thing. I don't know. And then
one's a scanner.
One's a scanner that can hear through like 250 feet all the way around, even through walls and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Mario
the other
Kart.
one? The other one was like a PA kind of.
Yeah,
system.
it does something.
And
and a
Mario
pen
Kart.
that you can shoot at people and it gives you mind control for a bit.
Yeah, because he's going to be the only fucking 14-year-old in 2006 with a fountain pen.
Nah, he's pretending to be a computer nerd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good
Well,
point,
Well, they can't write. Have you
That's
ever seen a
true.
computer nerd's handwriting?
That is true. They could type like a bitch, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so he's taken by the PR, who is Missy Pyle, who seems to play this character in every movie she's in, which is
Yep.
Yeah.
weird
Scary
looking
German.
Russian sidekick or German. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Mickey Rourke is there, and he's like, "This is my Portuguese man-o-war jellyfish." And then Andy Serkis is here for some reason too, but
Yeah.
he's got a big slice for his face.
By the way, Dan, fish guy, not an appropriate way to keep a man o' war jellyfish?
No, they also do not do that. Like,
Well, because you're going to have to be more specific.
I mean,
What don't they do?
They don't instantly evaporate a fish into a skeleton.
Oh, no, they don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. I'm pretty sure they're not that big either. They're fucking dangerous. They are like,
Yeah, no,
I
they are
think
dangerous.
second most, because the blue ring octopus is like the
Yeah, blue ring
deadliest
octopus.
one. Oh no, because that's an octopus, not a jellyfish. Yeah,
But
Portuguese man o' war is the
I
most
assume
dangerous
that's an
jellyfish. Yeah.
inappropriate way to keep them.
Well,
Yeah,
they
probably.
don't really care, do
Jellyfish
they?
are really difficult to look after, actually. Like, yeah, they are quite a difficult one. But I suppose in a movie where, you know, it's too obvious to have a pit of sharks.
That's true.
Yeah.
You have the very easily avoidable tank of
Have-
man o' war jellyfish, I
Yeah.
guess.
Have your very, very obvious
you-
puppet in some water.
You can't
Um,
exactly. Look, they didn't have a big budget.
No.
They spent it
Maybe
all
they
on Mickey,
wanted sharks, and they were like,
They
this
spent
looks
it
Best we
like
can
a
do
all
is this jellyfish, yeah.
Yeah.
all on Mickey
Um,
Rock.
It's because they spent all of the budget on Stormbreaker, which is basically shit VR.
Back then,
Yeah.
though, it was
And well,
a big
2005.
deal.
Bearing in mind, this is first gen DS territory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would
this
have
was a
been
big deal.
mind-blowing.
Like, the Nintendo 3DS was a pipe dream at this point.
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah. Right? It's pretty good. I think Stormbreaker's pretty good.
It's the one thing I will say though, because technology was going in the other direction. It's fucking massive,
Yeah.
and one person at a time. And he's like, basically, his thing is like he's going to give one of these amazing VR computers
One of these to every.
school in England. And I'm like, I know a lot of schools probably wouldn't have room for that.
No, you'd have to have a whole room for it, yeah.
Only posh schools.
It's
Yeah.
only
Only
private
cost
schools. I think he says,
70,000 schools around the UK.
yeah. I mean, that's probably all of them, isn't it?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Okay, that might have been a prototype and he had like a smaller version.
Maybe, but
But it's
I
only
mean, he does use it
it's
to go and have a
launching
look at
2
dinosaurs.
days later.
yeah.
That was probably a test room that he had built.
So there's
Like-
32,163 schools in the UK.
Damn, and there's going to be 70,000 of these Stormbreakers around the UK, because I guess
See?
that's a big number.
Yeah, they
So
didn't
it
even
was
Google how many schools there are.
posh schools only.
Yeah, but now we get into the section of the movie which I like to call Alex gets captured, Alex escapes, Alex gets captured, Alex escapes, Alex gets captured, Alex escapes.
Yeah, it's a Bond film.
Yeah,
For kids. So,
but he
same
gets
thing.
captured and escapes in the dumbest ways.
Yes.
And you have Missy Pyle goes to fight the nanny because you have to have the scene
cat
where
fight
two girls
is
fight each
so
other.
frustrating. Yeah.
I will say, it's not at all a sexy fight. It's kind of stupid and goofy.
Yeah, and they're like, now we know that Alex is actually Alex and not this computer nerd. And then
Yeah.
she's just immediately back in.
Oh yeah, she
Cornwall, wherever the
travels
hell. Yeah.
quick.
Mickey Rourke is meeting with the bad guy that shot Ewan McGregor.
Yep.
Alex overhears that they're going to kill him, so he's like, well, I'll get out of here.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about how Missy Pyle finds out that who he is and how he gets there? It's because MI6 let him take his phone registered to his name and address
Yeah.
with him on the mission, so that
Yeah,
he can
'cause
text the girl he fancies that we see in this movie twice.
Yep. And she gets like 3 lines.
Well, it's the first time he's like, "Oh, can we go out this weekend?" And she's like, "Oh no, I'm busy." Like genuinely, she has plans, and he's like, "Oh, whatever."
And she's
Yeah.
like, I can do the next weekend. And he's
Yeah,
like,
and he's like, "Whatever." And it's just like she's not rejecting you; she's just busy.
She has a life.
Like, yeah. Anyway, and then yeah. So anyway, but we know about her, and she's like, "I've got my riding lesson, and then I'm going out with mum and dad."
Yeah.
So we know that she has a horse, and that's foreshadowing.
Yes.
No,
Because
it's horse shadowing.
yes, but it's foreshadowing to the fact that he's 15 and can't drive a car, so they had to cut the car chase and give him a horse instead.
They also explain earlier that one of the things he can do is ride a horse.
Yeah.
So he's ready for that. His dad didn't teach him how to drive though.
No, because he's only 15.
Not allowed.
So
Legally not
legally
allowed.
not allowed to. No.
Legally not
so
You
allowed.
learn to
Alex
drive. You
escapes
just have
and
to
then-
do it on private land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex escapes and some sheep help him somehow, and then he climbs into a mine, and he's like the loudest spy ever because he's just clattering around when he's trying to get
Yeah,
into
he's
this.
very good at being a spy. They didn't really
No.
teach him how to be a spy, though. They taught him how to be a soldier,
Yeah.
how to be like special forces.
Yeah, so he smashes through and then finds the room where they're injecting the virus into the computer.
And it's the most obviously virusy virus.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
It's
it's
an
bright green. And then
Right.
guess what? Alex gets captured. You'd
it's
never
an
believe
actual
it.
virus, and
Crazy, isn't it?
And then
It's
he
an
like
act.
holds the vial of virus and he's like, "I'll fucking smash it,
I'll fucking kill us all.
kill us all." And then he escapes or something.
Yeah.
And then he gets captured again immediately by
yeah.
Bitty Pile.
And then Mickey, he has a chat with Sale, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Sale's like, "I got bullied, and my bully became the Prime Minister, and
I love
and
that.
that's
like,
why I want to kill people."
Yeah, basically the snobs, they were all snobbish about his, like,
American accent.
American
he was trailer
accent.
trash, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how even the villain, even though they're like, he's a villain who went through a hard life and got bullied, he's still posh. He's still like going to the same school as the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
the
mean,
Prime
it's
Minister-
like, obviously reference it without saying it, but it's Eton that they're talking
Yeah.
about, which is like the poshest school.
Yeah, but Prime Ministers and politicians don't go to normal schools. They go to special schools that allow them to become Prime Ministers and politicians. That's how it works. And so him being like, I was bullied, and it's like, it's still a posh cunt, though.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, my tiny violin.
You're still a fucking Tory.
He's like, I was bullied.
Well, I
You
don't
were
know. He's
cool.
actually giving something to schools, so.
Oh, yeah, good
Yeah,
point,
it-
yeah.
I mean,
a
what
virus.
he's giving is smallpox, but still.
I just,
Yeah,
In the
that
books,
sounds-
it's
that sounds
smallpox.
very much like
in this,
Tories,
it's
actually.
just
Yeah,
it's
that's-
just scary disease. It's
No.
not
Yeah,
named.
Tories
No,
will
that's-
happily open schools to spread diseases. Like, we know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
also, like, yeah, they'll give a lot of money to posh schools.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, next take. Prime Minister is Robbie Coltrane.
It's
'Cause why
so
not?
strange. I just can't get over that they made a villain and tried to make him like a little bit likable, but he's still
Yeah.
a posh cunt. Still a
Yeah.
dick.
Well,
So
I don't know
have
if they
all
try
that,
and make him
and
likable. It's just that his excuse is
I
that
got
he was
bullied
bullied.
as a kid. Like, yeah.
Oh, we
Don't
got
we all,
called
mate?
one name.
yeah, invest in some fucking therapy. Don't build 70,000 computers to give kids diseases.
Don't have a big
Like-
tank with a big jellyfish in it that you're going to drop Alex Rider in because he's been captured again.
That's so stupid.
And then he uses the corrosive stuff on the metal in the tank, and then the whole room floods, and Missy Pyle gets electrocuted by the big.
Yeah, the Man of War
puppet.
like floods onto her, which
Yeah.
is pretty scary when you think about it.
No,
Yeah.
that's an awful way to die.
Yeah.
I imagine that's an
Um,
absolutely awful way to die.
But then immediately from here, he his stunt double gets onto a quad bike.
Yep.
And then they do a few cuts just so you can see his face every so often, and by a few I mean about 2,000.
Yep. And then he gets
More
on the
cuts than the
helicopter.
Tories.
And more cuts to the Tories to the education system.
Yeah, and yeah, he gets on the helicopter, and some cars blow up for some reason, and then
Yeah.
it's
It's action.
being flown by Andy Serkis, and he mind controls him, and he's like, "Fly me to London."
Oh yeah, because that's the pen. We talked about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fact
Yeah,
that it was
the
stupid. He had a
magic
fountain
mind
pen.
control
Mind
pen,
control
yeah.
pen.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like everything else is like, okay, yeah, I guess you can make a DS explode. That
Yeah.
sounds doable, especially
Mind control
given what
pen.
we've heard about Samsung phones and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
this
like-
one's just got a faulty battery.
Yeah.
Alex.
And then
We didn't play-
like whatever the listening between walls is just standard spy bullshit. Like
Yeah.
sure, whatever. But
We
then the pen
implanted-
is such a weird left turn of like, and this
Yeah.
lets you control. Someone will do anything you say for 6
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
We-
It's
So
like
he-
that's fucking risky.
Yeah, it's weird as fuck, and he uses it to get Mr. Grin, or Andy Serkis, just to fly the helicopter to London because Robbie Coltrane is going to press the button, and he's the only one that can press the button. Because
Yeah, because
Mickey
the
Rourke
bad
made
guy.
sure of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rourke. That's not his name. What's his name?
Sale. Darius
Sale.
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 Darius Sale.
Sale.
Sale. He has programmed it because he wants it to be viewed in the public's eye as the
Prime Minister.
the Prime Minister's fault.
Yeah, as
And
the
that
Prime
he's
Minister
sort of not
giving
only
it
like
to-
condoned it, but been a massive part of it and been
Yeah.
like the person that sets it off. And the idea is once they all go live, so will the virus.
Yeah.
Which,
And
like, people would definitely also blame the Prime Minister, but they'd definitely go, it's your company, though.
Yeah, you made these.
He would not be able to get
it's,
away with
I
it.
think he's a sort of weird. Is this weird like self-sabotaging kind of? It's hard to like. He gets
guess.
revenge for him his childhood trauma.
By
Yeah, I
killing
guess.
loads of kids.
But by killing loads of kids, it's like, well, what's your plan for like the aftermath of that? Because I think that is an act of war.
Also, yeah. Also,
It's not even domestic terrorism because he's not British. So
yeah,
like,
that's just terrorism.
it's just terrorism.
Well, it's not terrorism because it's not an act of political or religious. It's not on behalf of a.
I mean, getting the
political
prime
ideology.
minister to do it feels quite political,
Well,
even
no,
if
but
it's
it's not
because
like
he's
a-
my bully.
It's not. It's personal though. It's not a political ideology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's not technically terrorism. It's just mass murder.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just genocide, infanticide.
Genocide of-
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not genocide either because it's not an attempt to kill every child.
But anyway, that doesn't happen
Anyway.
because Alex Rider jumps out the helicopter and then falls
Just
through the roof
fucking
at the last
shoots
second.
him. He's
And
like,
then the
"Give me
guards are like,
gun."
"Oh my god, it's him from earlier. Give me a
Yeah.
gun." And he just opens fire.
I love the way he's just like, give me a gun. They're like, okay, he just opens fire on the Prime Minister. And nobody tries to stop him.
No,
He's not shot. Surely one of the trigger happy
Just a
like
spray.
MI6 agents
just
would have
shoot.
shot
Would
him.
just shoot.
almost
Yeah.
as soon as he landed on the roof. Like,
Yeah.
But
why
also,
was there
like,
not a helicopter? Like, how could the helicopter even get near without all the police being sent to the roof?
Oh, he fell
Right.
pretty far with his parachute.
Hmm.
also
but-
pretty sure, like, one of those stray bullets would have hit the Prime Minister.
Yeah, because he shoots the button to stop him from pressing it.
Yeah.
But
Well, yes, it
Darius
can't be
escapes, and then it turns out there's a backup on a tower somewhere.
Well, Darius has a sort of temper tantrum,
Yeah.
swings
Yeah.
at the Prime Minister, and then escapes.
Yeah.
And then runs away. And nobody tries to stop him.
No, because
It
otherwise
might-
you
it
wouldn't
might be-
have this last bit of the movie.
It might be because the Tories have cut all of the funding for the police. So, there's that.
Mm.
It's very weird, isn't it? Because it's like, even if that had happened, like the building would be on lockdown. They're not going to let people leave.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Daisy just left.
But instead they
Um,
get out, he's like, oh my god, there's a tower that looks like something I saw in Cornwall. That's where the backup is. And then he sees his Sabina, who he wants to fuck, and then he's like, oh, she's on a horse. Can we use your horse? Once again with his caretaker, and then he's suddenly not there and
Abandoned,
he's on a horse.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah,
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah. But this
Uh,
was legitimately meant to be a car chase, but they were like, he's too young
Yeah.
to make it a horse
Um,
chase.
So it's a gentle ride through.
It's
a
a
little
ride
trot.
through most
It's-
of London.
Well, of course.
And at one point they get chased by the Royal Guard as well.
For some reason, I don't
The
remember.
Royal Guard are out practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't quite get. This was such a weird because there
British.
was no.
It's
There was no
British.
intensity to it though. It was meant
It's
to be
just-
like a quick run, but like it was a gentle trot through London.
Yeah. It's like, here's some of the famous landmarks of London you might know.
But yeah, they
Uh,
gather. He stops him, obviously.
Yeah, Darius
Fucking
is
obvious,
there and he tells his
And
guy not to let
Alex
anyone
stops
in.
him by pulling out a plug.
Yeah. He unplugs it, and then they don't shoot Darius, and Alex is like hanging off by a wire, and then Sabina tries to attack him, and Darius shoots a pigeon by accident.
Yeah, that was really weird because like Alex is hanging off the
Yeah.
hanging off the building by this cable. So these Sale is gonna kill him. The police are down at the bottom, and everyone's watching. Like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
They somehow have a shot on him, even though they're like fucking well far below.
Yeah.
They're also like, don't do it.
No.
Well, they're like,
you
because
might
they're like,
accidentally hit Alex. Oh no.
Yeah.
And then
And
Alex
then-
is nowhere near him, and they're like, still wait.
Still wait, and then the
I wanna
girl
see how
attacks
this,
him,
like-
and then
They're just like, I want to see how this plays out.
yeah, then she's hanging as well. But then the bad guy that killed his uncle comes along and does his
Turns up.
little upside down hang and shoots Darius.
Yeah.
but yeah, you mentioned it very briefly then. But like when Sabina, pushes him out the way, attacks him, he shoots, and the bullet obviously goes astray.
Yeah,
And this is quite a climax. This is like the climax of the film. It's like quite serious. Like it's the life and death kind of
yeah, like
bit. And the
yeah.
pigeon just drops next
Yeah.
to Bill Nye.
it's
and,
just a shot
it's
of Bill
like-
Nye, and then just a dead pigeon lands next to him, and he just
and I'm
kind of
like,
glances
what
at
a
it.
weird time. And like they don't acknowledge it. Really, they look at it and then they look back and like that's it, and
Yeah.
it's just like.
In something
It's
like
so
Johnny
strange.
English, that'd be really fucking funny.
Well, yeah, but this film doesn't have
it's
that
not.
tone at all. It's just
No.
like what? Why? Why did they feel the need to do that?
Yeah. But then, yeah, the bad guy, the guy that killed his uncle, kills Darius Sale and then rescues him, and he's like, "Don't think this means I forgive you for killing my uncle. We're setting up the overarching villain of our movies that we're."
Well, he's like, well, why did you do it? And he's like, well, this Sale became an embarrassment to the organization I work for. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, so the buck doesn't actually end with
No.
Darius.
Yeah,
This is part one of many movies that are definitely coming out.
it's definitely going to happen.
And basically, Sabina and Alex sign an NDA, so they can't talk about it, and then that's the end.
And then they deal with that NDA by talking about it openly in a school.
Openly in a school where no one's gonna. Don't worry, you didn't see this kid you go to school with try and shoot the Prime Minister.
No, that definitely wouldn't have been on
Yeah.
TV everywhere. But yeah, the kid, and then like the final shot, fucking obviously, is when he's like, "I'm not doing it. I'm not a spy anymore. That was it." And then he turns around and there's the person on the roof, and
Yeah,
he
just
looks
keeping
dead
an
into
eye.
the camera. Which
Yeah.
I'm upset. Was it? It definitely wasn't Jimmy Carr on the roof because I feel like it should have been.
Yeah.
Just
that-
one more Jimmy Carr shot.
That final jump scare, like fucking Jimmy Carr.
This film was so. You said earlier that you quite enjoyed it, Mikey.
I
Like,
en-
what is
I-
your reasoning?
I mean, I feel like this would be really exciting as a 14-year-old.
I mean, yeah, no, I enjoyed it when I was younger, but also.
Oh,
like,
I meant
it's-
now. I thought you said you liked it.
No,
now.
I did kind of enjoy it now because it's that like it's just a shit Bond movie, and like the Bond
Yeah.
movies are also shit.
Yeah.
Most of them are terrible, but it's just kind of like a Bond movie that's a bit
It's just
campier, and like it's got an incredible cast, and they're all acting their worst.
Yeah.
It's just like it's that kind of like shit movie that I actually quite enjoy.
I can't. I remembered being disappointed in it when I saw it. I was thinking, in the same way that we sometimes think that films can't be as good, like films will be better than we think that we remember them.
You're like, it can't be that bad.
I'm like, it can't be as bad. Like, I remember it being bad, but I was blown away at how bad.
It's reverse nostalgia.
Yeah, and I think when I was younger, I think this was probably one of my first experiences of like genuinely like bad acting.
Yep.
That I noticed, because like when you're a kid, you're just like so whatever into the film that you don't pick up on bad acting necessarily.
People today are like ruined by good acting because most people that are allowed in films now have to be at least kind of good actors.
Yeah.
I've seen people comment to be like, I've seen people say, "Oh, acting isn't that difficult. Acting looks really easy," and I'm like, "You've never seen." You've never seen like a
it can't be that
B-list
easy
film,
because there's
have
some
you?
very, very bad.
Yeah, it's like you've only ever seen like Marvel movies if you think that acting is actually quite easy to do.
Like if you remain convinced the whole time, that's pretty impressive.
Because like the acting in Marvels isn't like the best acting in the world, but fuck is it good compared to like Stormbreaker.
Yeah, and like the dialogue in this film is
Oh,
terrible. Like
man,
he's not
it's
given
so
much to
bad.
work with, and I feel like the proper actors as well are not given very much to work with, and do their best / worst.
Worst,
Yeah.
they do their best to match the energy of the film.
But
Well,
he
it's
also
like
he's
Bill
not written
Nighy.
like a teenager either. Like
Bill Nighy clearly wants to be a baddie in this,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't even. I'm
but
not
he's
even sure
like
if
he's
it's
like M essentially, but like
written as a. I
Yeah.
like that dynamic though. I mean, that's probably why I like the books. But I like the dynamic of like him not really wanting to be a spy. But they do threaten to deport his nanny.
Yeah.
they're like like this. It's building up to, and I don't know if this. I assume it happens in the books as well, like where he's betrayed or has to go rogue against.
I can't.
The,
I honestly can't remember. But yeah, it could have been an interesting series of films if it had a better.
The last one came out in
script.
2020.
Really?
There's 14. Sorry, 2023.
Wow.
Oh damn.
I guess there are people still reading them.
Yeah, I imagine they're still quite good popular kids books. They're just
don't
Not a good
watch
movie.
the film. Just don't watch the. They could have made a good film though, and that's why I feel a bit disappointed.
Yeah, like Helena, you were saying in the books, it's like smallpox instead of just a virus. Like,
Yeah, they'd like
you know,
dumb it down, and it's
Yeah.
not complicated.
They
Like
dumb
it is
it
a
down to,
children's,
like-
young
yeah.
adult book, but it's really young adult.
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
isn't like he is a teenager. It's just that it's not necessarily suitable for tweens.
Yeah, it's
it
just
very is
odd.
much just like kids first action. Like,
Yeah, which is fine.
yeah.
So the
I-
aim of the attack was to kill hundreds of thousands of British school children and their teachers.
Yeah.
And it's like, aren't we immunized against smallpox?
That might have been why they changed it in the film.
Maybe.
That might have been why they changed it, and they just couldn't think of something else.
They were like a
replace it. There
generic
wasn't, like,
virus. Because in
bleep.
2006, we know the words computer virus. That's
Oh,
clever.
actually, it's cleverer than that. We don't vaccinate against smallpox anymore because we don't have
Oh, because
smallpox.
it's gone.
Because we've wiped
Yeah.
it
gone.
out, yeah.
So actually, it would be bad.
That
It would be very
yeah.
bad.
See, but then you'd have to explain all of that
Yeah.
in the film. I understand why they changed it. It's just bad that they only did virus. They were like, it's a
Well, they
virus.
could have given it a name or anything.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Is like they just called it. It's a virus. It's like because explaining it's smallpox because nobody is immunized to it. What do you mean? Well, okay, so we thought it was gone. I get it, but yeah, saying it's just virus A isn't great.
Even just having it being like the
I'm not
Portuguese man of war venom or something.
Yeah,
Like,
just what
you
a
know.
weird way to kill people, and like that would have taken years to get that much venom from.
Oh, yeah.
a
But,
wolf.
like, it would have actually, connected to something else
Yeah.
in the movie.
No, it would have. Especially, it would have also made more sense if he had like killed them in like a way that was reminiscent of the Man of War.
Yeah.
But I guess he
Electrocution.
couldn't wait for the children to wander into the poison. He had to. There's not really any way to deal with that, and it's not a good hunter to compare yourself to. Oh, it's a mindless floating blob that kills
Yeah,
everything that touches
exactly.
it. That's what I'm gonna take myself over. I don't know. It's strange. Out of 10.
Oof.
I imagine not a high number.
No.
Like, I didn't enjoy really any of this film.
Understandable.
I had a
Like-
moment of enjoyment when I saw Ewan McGregor, and I was like, this could be good, and then...
Yeah, I was like, oh. But I guess maybe they got him in it because they're like, well, in the next few films, you're going to be in loads of flashback scenes and
He might not have
like,
been
backstory.
Like, that's entirely possible for this kind of film. For this
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what I
story.
was expecting with it's Ewan McGregor, like,
Yeah.
not realising that it was also going to be chock full of other actors.
Bill Nye, Stephen Fry, Mickey Rourke, yeah, Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, this is clearly everyone that didn't get on the Harry Potter bandwagon.
Hmm.
It was also like clearly promised all of these actors that they'd be in it more.
Yeah.
They'd be like in a franchise. So out of 10, I can't think of mine at the moment.
Yeah, like I did hate it. Like I did resent having to watch it. To be fair, by the end, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, it wears you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not in a good way.
I don't think it's any positive
No.
way. To
I'm
wear
gonna have
someone
to
down.
give it, I think, 3 fake DS games out of 10. Like, I did grab a screenshot I'll put that on. Oh, I found a screenshot online of the games. If people want to see them, they're pretty terrible. I also this film hard to find. I had to pay money to watch it.
Oh yeah, this film's hard to
It's
find.
not
This-
on Prime or
Yeah,
Netflix
no,
or
this film is
anything.
Well, the
difficult to
Patreon
find.
can reimburse you for that. You deserve the money back.
Hmm.
Yeah, this film is hard to find.
It's not that I can afford it. It's more that I feel bad for contributing to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
Like I
one
resent that.
tiny bit closer to a sequel now.
That was
Well,
it.
at least
You just...
Pettifer's grown up, so it's going to be someone else, and maybe they'll pick an actor.
so rude.
Oh, but he was bad.
No, he was
It
real
was
bad. And I think
and like
even he
his
would admit
delivery,
it.
they're clearly like you've got to sound like you're from London, but like you're posh, but you're a bad boy,
And a bit confused.
and a bit.
Do you know
yeah.
what this was a shit version of? Kingsman. Kingsman is the good version of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously older, but yeah.
Yeah. But like in terms of vague plot, I guess.
Imagine if this film took off instead of the Kingsmans.
I mean, we wouldn't have got that weird prequel, but
It's true.
yeah, I'd probably give this Mission Probably Doable 3. It was fine. There were some bits where I was like, yeah, I guess that's all right, but yeah, no nostalgia for it. Nothing kind of attaching me to it. So yeah, it was just I watched it and I say at the start I had that brief moment of this has got Ewan McGregor in it. This could be good, and then he just gets shot straight away.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I think I'm gonna go with 4 surprise actor jump scares.
4 Jimmy Cars.
4 Jimmy Carr jump scares. Because the nostalgia definitely makes it for me. I say it's a little bit campy, in that like kind of shit way that I enjoy. I don't like good films, this kind of film, but I understand completely that it is a bad film and nobody should watch it.
Yeah.
This is enough for me for a while. I'm not going to watch it for a long time.
And I think if you ever get, you need to get another little card to put next to your one for push that says "Don't watch Stormbreaker."
Don't watch Stormbreaker.
It's not good.
Maybe once.
It has been a while since you saw Push.
Not gonna
Might
watch
have got
Push
better.
again. Not gonna watch Push again.
I've
Still
heard
bad.
it's really good.
Yeah, well, you've heard wrong.
Well, I guess with that, I've been Dan.
I've been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. If you want to come and tell us, I don't know. Did you enjoy the books? Like
You've read them.
people seem to.
Yeah,
to
what
like them.
happens?
Yeah.
Tell us what happens. Because I'm sort of vaguely curious.
Yeah, and what did you think of the movie? Like when it came out as well? Were you excited for it because of the books, or
Were you disappointed that it basically ended the franchise for 20 years?
Yep.
They might make it again. I can see Netflix.
No,
they
have redone it. It has got
They have done. I've watched an episode.
Yeah, they
It's
did an
also
Alex
not
Rider
good.
TV show, didn't they?
It's not good.
Oh well.
Yeah. Well, we have
It's-
a Patreon as well where we do bonus episodes. You can support the show. We'll give Helena however much it was that she rented this movie for out of it.
£3.59.
Oof,
That's too much.
That's a month's worth of Patreon. No. what
Month's
special-
wages.
Yeah.
You need to speak to a lawyer. You are underpaid.
What are we doing for the Patreon this week? Are we training a child to be?
Yeah, we're gonna kidnap another child.
Yeah, we're going to raise them to be a spy.
Yeah, we are collectively adopting a child that we are going to British
we're
kid.
gonna. Can we adopt a child, but teach him how to act and then make these movies?
Get all the actors back. Get Jimmy Carr back.
Reprising his role as Detective Chief Inspector something.
I wanna. Well, I don't want to, but we're gonna use your money to adopt a child, teach him how to be a spy by taking him on holiday and stuff. Mainly just because we also get to go on cool holidays, and then one day he'll be a spy. Because that's how it works, right? You
do
just
have to make sure he's got an uncle that's also a spy.
Oh, does anyone have? I guess you wouldn't know if you had uncles that
No.
weren't all spies. They wouldn't tell you legally.
Yeah, they're really
signed
not
an
allowed.
NDA. Yeah.
I guess that's another kidnapping one. Adoption this time. We're not kidnapping.
Oh, okay, so we're going the legal route. We're not just gonna.
That's why
nab
we need
one.
the money.
Oh, it's expensive.
That's why we need the money.
Plus, obviously, it's going to be really expensive to raise them.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all the
that's it.
horse riding lessons and.
I don't know how adoption works with 3 people as parents. I don't know if that's a legal thing either.
I think it's complicated.
I think all adoptions are complicated. This is definitely not a good reason to adopt a child either. They might have issues. As we need to think of a
Like
cover
we want to train a
story.
super spy. They'll be like,
Subtly though,
the
the child will not know he's a super spy. He will just think he's had a good life and gets to go on loads of holidays.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
But we're also going to be kind of absent parents. But
Yeah.
that will motivate him in the future.
Yeah, and
Yeah, this has
eventually
to mean
will
that we're all spies.
be killed.
Shh,
That's
Dan,
a
you
lot
weren't
of the
supposed
money.
to tell anyone.
A lot of the money.
shit,
Can
yeah,
you
I'll
imagine
have
if we were spies?
A lot of our money has to go to taking out people who've listened to this podcast
Yeah.
because now they know we're spies.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we were spies but also did this shit podcast?
It's our cover story.
This is how we burn deal with stress.
Like, where were you
man.
on this night while I was recording and we watched Tarzan?
We were
So we were
infiltrating.
talking about it.
We were here to infiltrate the podcasting network.
I feel like that if there was any situation where we could possibly train someone up.
Yeah, it's not good though. We're not doing well.
I think we're doing excellently. But also, please like and share.
Yes, please like and share. We need
Tell
your
your
help to get
friends.
closer
Yeah.
to other podcasters to
5-star
eventually take
review,
them out.
also very nice.
Yeah.
Haven't had
That
one
too.
of them in a while. Hint.
Yeah. Sign up to the Patreon, you get some bonus episodes. We get AI to write sequels to movies that.
We'll adopt your child
Yeah.
if you want.
Turn him into a spy.
You know.
You can have him back. That's only our
Just
top tier.
Adopt a kid, train them to be a spy. 10 years later, give it back to the parents.
Isn't that boarding school?
That's our top tier. That is our top tier Patreon only though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
I can't believe no one's gone for that yet.
We had one, but we had to turn him down.
Yeah, that kid was never going to be a good
Oh,
spy.
he was useless.
Yeah.
Fucking useless.
Yeah.
Couldn't act for shit.
Yeah, we're sorry, Alex Pettifer. We'd like you to come back to our Patreon. Right, we all ready?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
God, I'm reading my emails like a fucking nerd.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you should be talking on your movie-based podcast like a not nerd.